Imagine standing peacefully on a beautiful beach. The sky is clear. Children are laughing. Waves gently touch the shore. Everything feels normal. And then, the ocean suddenly begins to disappear. Water pulls back farther and farther, exposing rocks, coral, and fish that were hidden beneath the sea for centuries. People stare in confusion. Some even walk closer. They take pictures. They collect shells. But what they don't realize is that the ocean is not retreating in fear. It is preparing to attack, because somewhere deep beneath the darkness of the sea floor, the earth itself has just cracked open, and in only a few minutes, an invisible force, powerful enough to erase entire cities, is already racing toward the shore, faster than a passenger airplane. Tonight, we uncover one of the most terrifying mysteries of nature. How an earthquake creates a tsunami, and why the ocean can transform from calm paradise into a wall of destruction within moments. Stay with me until the end, because understanding this phenomenon could one day save your life. Deep beneath the oceans, the earth is never truly still. Massive tectonic plates, giant slabs of rock larger than entire continents, are constantly moving. But they do not move smoothly. For years, sometimes centuries, they grind against each other, slowly building unimaginable pressure. Think of two enormous mountains pushing together without stopping. The pressure grows, the rocks bend, the energy increases every second, and then suddenly, snap. The earth ruptures violently. In that instant, hundreds of kilometers of ocean floor can suddenly rise or drop by several meters. And this is where the nightmare begins, because above that shifting sea floor sits something unbelievably heavy: the entire ocean. Billions upon billions of tons of water are suddenly forced upward. The ocean has no time to escape sideways, so the water is lifted instantly. This creates the birth of a tsunami. Most people imagine a tsunami as one giant curling wave, but the truth is far more terrifying. A tsunami is not just a surface wave. It is the movement of the entire ocean itself. From the dark sea floor all the way to the surface, the entire water column begins moving together. That is what makes it so deadly. Normal waves are created by wind brushing the ocean surface, but a tsunami is created by the force of the planet itself. And once this energy is released, it cannot be stopped. The displaced water begins spreading outward in every direction from the earthquake zone. But here comes the truly frightening part. In the deep ocean, a tsunami is almost invisible. A ship directly above it may not even notice anything unusual. Passengers might continue drinking coffee, while one of the deadliest forces on Earth passes silently beneath them. Why? Because in deep water, the tsunami can stretch across hundreds of kilometers. Its height may only be less than 1 meter. The slope is so gentle that humans cannot feel it. But hidden inside that small rise is unimaginable energy. And that energy moves incredibly fast. Sometimes faster than 800 kilometers per hour. That is nearly the speed of a jet aircraft. Imagine this. While families relax on beaches unaware of danger, a massive pulse of ocean energy is already racing toward them across the sea. Silent, invisible, relentless. This is what makes tsunamis so terrifying. You usually cannot see the danger coming until it is too late. Scientists have installed deep ocean sensors and warning systems across the world to detect these waves. But even modern technology struggles against nature, because the ocean floor is chaotic. There are underwater mountains, trenches, cliffs, and hidden landslides. A small difference beneath the ocean can dramatically change the size of a tsunami. Sometimes computer models predict only a minor wave, and then a 30-meter wall of water suddenly crashes ashore. Nature always hides surprises, and the deeper scientists study the ocean, the more mysterious it becomes. But the tsunami's most dangerous transformation happens when it approaches land. Out in the deep ocean, the wave moves freely and rapidly, but near the coastline, the water becomes shallow. Now the bottom of the tsunami begins scraping against the sea floor. This slows the lower part of the wave, but the enormous mass of water behind it continues rushing forward at high speed. The energy has nowhere to go, so it rises upward. The wave grows taller, and taller, and taller. A nearly invisible movement in the middle of the ocean suddenly transforms into a towering wall of destruction. The coastline itself can make the tsunami even deadlier. Narrow bays act like funnels. River mouths pull the wave inland. Steep coastlines force the water higher. In some places, a small tsunami becomes catastrophic simply because of the shape of the land. This is why one town may survive, while another nearby is completely erased. And then comes one of the strangest warning signs in nature. The ocean suddenly pulls away from the shore. This happens because the first part of some tsunamis is actually a deep trough instead of a crest. The sea retreats rapidly, dragging coastal water backward. Fish flop helplessly on exposed sand. Boats tilt sideways. Coral reefs emerge from the sea. And people become curious. That curiosity has cost thousands of lives throughout history. Because when the ocean retreats like this, you may only have 5 to 10 minutes left. The water will return. And when it returns, it comes back with unimaginable force. If you ever witness the ocean suddenly pulling away from the coast, do not wait. Do not record videos. Do not collect shells. Run immediately toward higher ground. That single decision could save your life. And this is what makes tsunamis so horrifying. The ocean gives a warning, but many people fail to understand it until it is too late. If you believe nature deserves more respect than humanity often gives it, type "respect the ocean" in the comments. Because the deeper we explore Earth's mysteries, the more we realize how small we truly are. And this is only the beginning. Next, we will uncover what actually happens when a tsunami hits land, how entire cities disappear, why buildings collapse in seconds, and the terrifying physics that turn water into a weapon more destructive than most people can imagine. So stay with me till the end of this journey. And if my words helped you see the hidden power of our planet in a new way, please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who loves mysteries of history and nature. Your support encourages me to continue revealing the world's most terrifying truths. The ocean has already crossed thousands of kilometers. The earthquake is over. The deep sea is silent once again. But near the coastline, something terrifying is beginning to rise. At first, people see only a strange shape on the horizon, not a normal wave, not white foam crashing beautifully against the shore. No, what approaches now looks more like the ocean itself standing up, a dark moving wall stretching across the coastline. And within seconds, the peaceful sound of the sea transforms into a roar, so deep and violent that survivors often compare it to hundreds of airplanes screaming through the sky at once. This is the moment when a tsunami reveals its true form, and by then, it is usually too late to escape. What makes a tsunami different from ordinary waves is one terrifying fact. It does not simply crash and retreat. It keeps coming. Imagine an entire section of the ocean suddenly moving onto land without stopping. That is what a tsunami really is. A moving mountain of water carrying unstoppable force behind it. When the first impact hits the shore, the water behaves less like liquid and more like a solid weapon. 1 cubic meter of water weighs about 1 ton. Now imagine millions of tons moving together at highway speeds. Buildings begin shaking instantly. Windows explode. Concrete walls crack apart like paper. Trees that stood for centuries are ripped from the ground within seconds. Cars float away like children's toys. And then the true nightmare begins. Because the water is not clean anymore. As the tsunami moves inland, it becomes filled with destruction itself. Broken houses, steel beams, glass, cars, fishing boats, entire rooftops. Everything becomes part of the wave. The ocean transforms into a giant grinding machine, crushing everything in its path. People often believe they can survive by hiding inside buildings. But physics says otherwise. Most normal buildings are not designed to withstand the force of moving ocean water. The tsunami attacks foundations first. Water pushes against every surface at once. Pressure builds rapidly, and suddenly entire structures collapse from underneath. A house that once felt permanent can disappear in less than a minute. Even worse, many tsunamis do not arrive as a single wave. This is one of the deadliest misconceptions in history. People survive the first wave, then return outside too early. But the ocean is not finished. Second waves, third waves, sometimes even larger waves continue arriving for hours. The sea keeps attacking again and again until all the stored energy is released. That is why survivors are always told, never return to low ground until officials declare the area safe, because the ocean can appear calm right before another deadly surge arrives. One of the strangest things about tsunamis is how geography decides who lives and who dies. Two towns may stand only a few kilometers apart. One suffers flooding, the other is completely erased from existence. Why? Because coastlines shape the power of the wave. Narrow bays are especially dangerous. Imagine squeezing a river through a tiny pipe. The same volume suddenly becomes more powerful. That is exactly what happens during a tsunami. The energy becomes compressed. The water rises higher and moves faster. Some bays have amplified tsunami waves to heights greater than 30 meters. That is taller than many buildings. River mouths create another hidden danger. The tsunami does not stop at the beach. It can travel far inland through rivers, carrying destruction deep into areas far from the ocean itself. People living many kilometers from the coast sometimes believe they are safe, but the water can suddenly appear around river bends with terrifying speed. And then there are reflections. When tsunami waves strike cliffs or seawalls, the water can bounce backward and collide with incoming waves. This creates even more chaotic movement. Gigantic whirlpools form. Water spins violently between buildings. Currents change direction instantly. In those moments, survival becomes almost impossible because the ocean behaves unpredictably. Many myths exist about natural barriers protecting people from tsunamis. Some believe coral reefs or forests can completely stop the wave. The truth is more complicated. Mangroves and reefs may reduce some energy. They may slow debris, but nothing can fully stop the true force of a major tsunami. Nature itself struggles against that level of power. And yet, despite all this destruction, the most terrifying part may be how quickly it all happens. Entire communities can vanish in less than 20 minutes. Schools, roads, homes, memories. Everything swept away by water generated from an earthquake hundreds or even thousands of kilometers away. And after the water finally retreats, an eerie silence often remains. No traffic, no voices, only destruction. Mud covers the streets. Ships rest on top of buildings. Cars hang from broken trees. Families search desperately for loved ones. The landscape itself becomes unrecognizable. This is why tsunamis have terrified civilizations for thousands of years. Ancient cultures often believed angry gods caused these waves, but modern science reveals something even more chilling. The disaster is created by the natural movements of our living planet. The earth beneath us is constantly shifting. Even now, deep under the oceans, tectonic plates continue grinding together silently. Pressure is building somewhere at this very moment, and one day, that pressure will release again. But knowledge changes everything. The difference between life and death during a tsunami often comes down to awareness. Remember these signs. If you feel a powerful earthquake near the coast, move to higher ground immediately. If the ocean suddenly retreats unusually far, run. Do not wait for confirmation. Do not stay to watch. Do not go closer. Every second matters. Because once the tsunami becomes visible, it may already be impossible to escape. Humanity has built warning systems, satellites, sensors, and supercomputers. But nature still remains stronger than our predictions. The ocean is beautiful, but it is also one of the most powerful forces on Earth. And sometimes, it reminds humanity exactly who controls this planet. If this story opened your eyes to the terrifying power hidden beneath the oceans, type "The ocean never sleeps" in the comments. Because awareness can save lives. And the more we understand Earth's mysteries, the better prepared we become for the future. Thank you for staying until the end of this journey with me. If these words helped you feel the reality behind tsunamis and the hidden physics of our planet, please support the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with others who love history, mysteries, and the terrifying truths of nature. And remember, sometimes the deadliest disasters begin in complete silence.